Let's go. Wednesday here in Australia. Loud and clear. Thanks, Lars. Hope you guys are all doing good, and girls. We're gonna kick it in just a minute. In the meantime, if you've got any charts that you can think of tonight and we want to have a look, feel free to put them in the chat and we can go through them as we progress in the stream. I reckon we go, hey? Let's kick it. Let's kick it. Let's do it. Alrighty, alrighty. Thanks, team. Thank you, and welcome. Welcome to another week in the markets. Let's have a little look-see as to what the market is giving us this week. Can you see my screen in there? And if not, I'll just quickly share again and you should be able to see again. Yo, Resuka, how you doing, mate? Sorry, Discord is just giving me the death spinning wheels or spinning squares or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I'm actually oh no, I've got the infinite loop. Hang on a second. Let me do this again. Change. Make selection and let's try this again, hey? Hopefully it's better and hopefully you can see me and hear me and having a good evening so far, Isuka. Thank you for asking. It's been a pretty chill evening. We went out for dinner with the wife and managed a couple of trades, a couple of forex trades. But let's have a little look-see. DXY's been playing with us this week, I guess, today especially. I didn't necessarily love what I'm getting an error. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm getting an error that my internet's not going well. Can you hear me / see me? Internet playing up. Oh yeah, awesome. Cool. Perfect. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. I got one window that is telling me that I'm down on bandwidth, but as long as you can see me, that's all good. So let's have a little look again as to where we are with the dollar. So we do this every week. Obviously, very important to always have an understanding of where we are at a macro level. And we talked about last week about this level on the weekly being respected, and we're very much in the vicinity of very important levels, you can see. So that structure, we broke it, and now we must not close below this previous low that we had formed obviously a few weeks ago. So on the daily, which is what I was looking at today when I was doing some forex trades, we are quite obviously forming intraday possible breaker structure. What I mean by intraday possible breaker structure is you can see that the previous low was here, but really I consider this to be the low to the high. So swing low to swing high, this is the structure that I'm going to be considering for this setup to be valid. So there's still a little bit for room, or I guess for the dollar to go back and mitigate a few of these orders, which obviously when we come down to Forex gives us a bit of an understanding as to where we need to be for this kind of Forex trades, right? So dollar out of the way, let's have a look at where the Bitcoin dominance is doing and lies, which is, I guess, the big question for us in crypto is what is the Bitcoin dominance doing? So straight away we can see that on the weekly, previous week closed on the, I guess, we had an engulfing bearish. I don't know, let me just pull this up so we can see better. We had an engulfing bearish that basically invalidated 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks worth of ladder bullishness, and 1 week just completely obliterated. And then last week was unconvincing bullish momentum again. But if we look back, we can see that usually up until this point, the bullish momentum has been very slowly climbing for then only to have major sudden drops. And this is nothing new. We've covered this now for quite some time. We're basically going to take the steps up and then eventually the elevator down. So what am I expecting on the dollar just based on this week? So I'm looking closely as to what the print of this formation is looking like. You can see previously we've had a very sudden drop only to then go up higher, and I want to see if this level gets invalidated. So this that we printed last week, yeah, because it was last week we've been talking about it, 62%, that's my structural low. The moment we start closing lower of this, because you can see unlike this move, now we're starting to retrace, therefore making potentially a lower high. If we invalidate this level, then I can have a better confirmation that the Bitcoin dominance is ready to drop, therefore pushing our alts higher. Until that happens, I'm still not sure and convinced that this is it for Bitcoin dominance. I am still leaning towards the possibility of having a slow retracement, a bounce at the 62, only to then push higher into the potentially mid to high 60% when it comes to the Bitcoin dominance. So it's very much a waiting game here. It will play out in the next few weeks because this is obviously on a daily time frame that we're looking at. So there's still a little bit of time for us to go. But for now, we are trading at a potential low for the Bitcoin dominance, but it has not printed that breaker structure that I want to see yet. So really important to keep obviously this chart. Oh, the music is glitching out. Let me just bring it down a little bit. There. Cool. I just turn it right back down. Thanks, Cypher. Thanks for the feedback there. Sorry. So Bitcoin dominance out of the way. We now know that. Who's there? There's that sexiest voice that I hear. Awesome. Thank you. That's much better. Cool. I'm always wary of the music in the background. I love it, but I just never know how it comes across on a microphone. So thanks for the feedback. So we have a dollar that potentially has a bit more room to fall, and we have a Bitcoin dominance that hasn't really made up its mind just yet. So where does that leave us with Bitcoin, of course? So let's start looking at what we talked about last week. I'll leave these charts untouched pretty much week to week, so we can go back and have a look at them. And would you look at that? Hey, we talked about it. It was on Wednesday, so you can see Wednesday at 6. It was here, round about here, where I put this little waiting, I guess, send time, whatever you want to call it. And I said I was going to wait for longs until we hit the 786, and it played up beautifully. So that was a great level for us to obviously keep an eye and alert on. Play it out to the teeth. You can see low to high, 786, 886, reversal just below the lows, and hit that fib extension. So this is something that we haven't really started to cover just yet, but we are going to take a lot more attention to if there is an appetite in GTG, of course, for this kind of extension and take profits. We pay a lot of attention to our entries, but fibs are really good at telling us as well where to exit. So you can see here, I usually put them in blue. You don't often see them on my charts because obviously we play intraday swings. But when it comes to longer swings, my favorite fib extensions are, you can see them here, So 0 point negative, I guess, 414, 618, 1618, and 2618. These are for long swings. But and you can see this would have been a very nice trade, of course. We didn't take it because we had other trades that very much printed in GDG. We caught some insane gains on shorts and longs left, right, and center. So we don't want to be too exposed to the markets, but it's good to see that from week to week, from 7 days. This is a swing, right? So from Wednesday, you can see down below. So from Wednesday when we talked about it till today, 7 days, this trade played beautifully. So just wanted to run this so that we can have a look at the logic. Now let's talk about an active trade that was shared earlier today, this morning for me in Australia, and that was our XRP trade. So those two entries, entry 1, entry 2. Entry 1 was taken off the 1 hour. Okay, so and I'll run it through. So first of all, 1 hour structure. I think we're all pretty good now, hopefully. And if not, please ask questions in the chat if you're live, or ask question in the Discord if you're watching the recording. So we have a lower high, of course, then we have a lower low, we have another lower high, and then we printed the first higher low, right? So this low is lower than the next low. So this was our higher low. So that was our first level of confirmation. With that in mind, all we had to do was look at lower time frame confirmation. So it was a matter of taking a fib from the low to the high and having a look as to where the market touched. It fiddled around the 50 to 61.8, didn't quite touch the 76. But if you were to take the fib from this last big candle, it did in fact touch the 76. Now, this is not something that I do usually. I do still like to take it from the lower. But when you have this kind of move, and I think we covered it last week or the week prior. So when you have these kind of moves, you cannot ignore them. So we have a very strong push down. We had bulls taking control again. And then the bears, or market makers, or smart money, push the price right back down, fill imbalances, and then the real move happens. So I was expecting some sort of mitigation into here. It was still too early for me to take that trade because I want to have another layer of confirmation, and that's what we did. Once we had this kind of formation happen, and yet again another very strong push down that took this liquidity below here. You can see I've got it marked there. So that was equal lows all the way from here. So I can actually do it here so you have a better visual, but it was pretty much equal lows from there. So this really strong push down took this liquidity, or equal lows, and then moved up. So that's when we were ready for an entry 1 and an entry 2. And the entry 2 was actually taken. So the entry 1 was obviously taken from the hourly, shared that in the Discord. And those little arrows that you see, they were taken from a lower time frame. Entry 2 was indeed, as you can see by the note there, this 50 minutes candle, which was actually what ended up taking that equal lows, which we just talked about. So that entry 2 was a snipe. You can see right there, sniped, and then it's obviously moved up quite considerably. And obviously now it's retraced right back into the entry. And it looks like it might even tag this back, or go into this 50 minutes candle. Now, we've taken TP1 already, tagged into the group, of course. So we've got TP1 already. I saw a few of you guys posting wins, which is awesome. We didn't quite get to TP2. It's going to be really, really important for us to see what the market, and obviously XRP follows BTC and so forth, what the market is going to do at this level. So what we need to see here, strictly from a TA perspective, is we need to see some higher highs being made. So we need to see some sort of rejection around this level, potentially coming back into this candle for XRP that we're looking up here, and filling up a few other lower time frame imbalances, which I'm sure are there, and then a strong reversal. I want to see a really strong push back up, and I want to see this level right here, so the 235 and eventually the 238 taken out with conviction. So that tells me that the bulls are back in charge and their deal is still valid. You can see that the stop loss is purposely very, very tight. Like we put it right below basically this kind of move, because if we go any lower, I'm not convinced and I'm not ready to give back to the market any more than I have to. That is why this stop loss is so tight, where usually we obviously give a bit more room to the market for breeding, I guess. So that's kind of like the XRP idea that we did today, and it's still valid and it's still running. So any questions on that in the chat, feel free to ask. But if you can see, entry 2 is in profit currently, whereas entry 1 is a little bit under at the moment. So let's have a look at Sol. You can see XRP and Sol, they're kind of similar. They're kind of similar movement at the moment. So we are printing obviously some on the hourly anyway, some higher lows. But again, we need to see some strong higher highs being made. So for Sol, I want to see 171 taken out properly, with a very strong push and a very strong close in the hourly above that level. Once that happens, we can then look at potentially catching a retrace. And if we were to play the harmonic game, which is perhaps something that XRP gives me a little bit better, I guess, risk to reward, but also structure to play off with, this will be a high, this will be a low, this will be a high, this will be a low, and then we haven't made a leg D, C to D yet. So this could be potentially where the harmonic plays. So if we were to do some sort of, I guess, movement, will be something like this. Come back up here, retrace 50%, somewhere in here, and then keep going higher. Obviously, too soon now to tell, but this could potentially play out in terms of harmonic patterns. You can see, I'm going to leave it here so we can have a look at it another day or next week or something. But yeah, I definitely see this potential move happen, right? So we're long on XRP, everything aligns properly, and this is just another level of confirmations. Solana doesn't quite give me that nice harmonic yet, and what I mean by that when it comes down to harmonics is the third leg. So you can see first, second, the third is really not that strong, and I like my B2C to be a little bit deeper than this, but technically this could potentially be still harmonic. But I usually tend to like around the 76 retracements for excuse me, for setups, but the 625 or 618 minimum is still a valid harmonic. So potentially this could still play out. I do have to flag, and I will flag this live, so you hear it first, and you can set up alarm. This 1 hour candle has my attention potentially for a short. I do like this level to play a small leverage play on Sol as a potential short idea. This could be an intraday play, likely going a few hours. It's great because I was doing some back testing. Give me 2 seconds. That's not the right color, and that's the right color, and that's the right color. Cool. So we could potentially be looking at something like this, and potentially come back into this equal lows which we have formed down here. You can see them, 1, 2. All that liquidity is there to me, primed to be taken anyway. So I do have my my eyes there. So it's almost a 1 to 3 there, but this is potentially something that we could be looking at once we get up there. And of course, we need to see price slow down, making some lower lows, and then enter on the retest as always, right? So these levels are, especially when we call them up a few hours / days ahead of time, we need to make sure that we assess what the lower time frames are doing. So when I say lower time frame, I mean obviously your 15 minutes, your 30 minutes. I'm not going to go 1 minute unless I'm trying to snipe, and only be in that one time frame for the next 20, 30, 60 minutes. So 1 minute is great for certain things, but not often you see me there personally. I know that Cuppy loves it. He's not on here, but we can have we can tag him later and say, Cuppy, come and hang out on the 1 minute. So this is kind of the sole situation that I'm looking at. A bit of a waiting game for me at the moment. You can see we are in the middle of a range still. So from low to high, we're currently sitting just below the 50%. So let's have a look at ETH. ETH has been more exciting for me than Solana. You can see the big push up which we recently had for ETH, of course, was a lot more pronounced. So we ended up breaking structure nice and clear. And now we are in this territory where we have to look at the macro perspective, what kind of price we're fighting against, right? Because everything in the market is a tug of war of buyers and seller. And here, there's a lot of selling pressure. This whole area right here, which we can box up from here to here, this is all selling pressure. Pressure right there, right? Order block, there's a lot of indecision there. So we are right in the middle of it currently. So when it comes to lower time frame now, what we need to see is obviously some clearer structure. You can see straight away, or I can see straight away anyway, but hopefully you can too. When this kind of candle formation forms, we have obviously higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, and then look what we have right here. This is the candle that kind of tells a story, and I'm not going to take an entry just because of a candle, right? Like some YouTube channels will tell you, you can study all about candles. They're great to tell you a story, but a story is made out of many different pieces. But when you see these kind of candles with very little body and a very aggressive sweep of liquidity previous equal highs, that means that at some stage in this 4-hour candle, the buyers push the price, or a market maker push the price up, and then eventually the market decided that the strength was bearish and we closed with very little body. So this tells me straight away that there's a lot of bearish pressure, which makes sense because we just looked at it. We are in the bearish pressure channel. So technically, sorry. Technically. Are you okay there, Safa? Sorry, I saw you coming offline. Off mute. Sorry, I saw you coming offline. I think I might have to mute you there because I can hear echo. I just muted you. Sorry. Technically, on ETH, we could potentially be looking at some. All good, man. All good. All good. Especially when you're on the phone. I can see you're on the phone, so I do it all the time. I hate Discord, man. Technically, this could be a potential sell setup that we see on ETH. Why? Well, we started already breaking structure, right? So we've gone from higher highs to now making, oh, that was ugly, to now making lower highs and lower lows. And then here we've made an attempt of pushing higher, failed. So now if we see some sort of lower lows and retest, we could potentially be taking a position on ETH. Now, I'm not going to press buy, or sorry, sell in this case just yet, because there's not enough confirmation. We want to drill down, but it is encouraging to see that at even at a lower time frame, we had some equal highs right here, swept 1-hour candle with intent, and then left behind some beautiful imbalances. So a move like this for ETH is totally on the cards, and without spending too much time analyzing, I can probably say confidently that somewhere between here and here will be a good entry. Let's just call it at the beginning of that imbalance, and a risk just above the previous high will give us a 1 to 4, just a bit over 4.3 risk to reward. So this is a trade that a setup that I'll be willing to take, because it's giving me enough risk to reward for me to take. Oh, I just deleted that. It's giving me enough risk to reward confirmations there, and yeah, I'm keen to take it. I mean, we just looked at potentially Bitcoin facing some resistance at an extension level, 618, 414. So big wick down. Everyone expects it to go up higher, and when there's that kind of pressure, excuse me, that kind of pressure on an asset, usually the asset tends to not perform as everyone wants it. That's just the way it goes in any kind of financial market. So yeah, I do like this ETH idea personally, and obviously if you do decide to take one of them, XRP, we just talked about it, potentially going up high and reversing. I actually want to make this very clear. We haven't talked about it in a few weeks about the harmonics. Harmonics are great, but they're not an entry level. They are just there as an extra layer of confirmation. So if I see a setup based on a potential harmonic forming, and I see a setup against, say, for example, ETH, which is a structural setup where I have higher lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and lower highs, I will take my structural setup any day over an harmonic setup any day. Harmonics often fail. They're there as an extra level of confirmation. So if I'm expecting ETH to drop and to go lower, I'm not going to take XRP in a long. Ultimately, we are playing a game of probability here. So put this on the radar. See how we go in the next, I guess, probably a few hours. But this will be the candle for me that makes it or break it. So this 1 hour candle right here. I'll be interested in that one, and yeah, see how we go, hey? The 2 hour probably is going to give us a nicer candle, but it's already been traded into. You can see this nice big push up. It's already been traded into. So be interesting to see 15 minutes gives us a nice balance there as well, right there. And let's have a look at what the 30 minutes give us. Semi-balance, a little bit lower. So yeah, I do like this level for potential short. Like I said, not huge stop loss in terms of where we put it. We'll just put it just above the previous high, give it a bit of room. Also 2751, just above the 2750 psychological level. And anytime you play the 50s, you want to go just above it. Sorry, just reading the comment now. So yeah, Discord, don't get me started. Oh wow, look at that. This is gold from the other week. So we talked about gold the other week. That was on Wednesday once again. It was here. Yep. So we said, let's just have a look at the structure, break, and let's see if it retraces, and it did to the T. We right there. So we actually active on gold right now. Okay, I might call this out later in Discord because I want to do a bit more lower time frame analysis, but this could potentially be a good level for us to short gold. So low to high, we're sitting at the 618 exactly, 50% 618. So this is obviously prime area. If the trend is strong, we want to see some sort of reversal pretty much right away. So from this level, we want to see some strong reaction. So gold, obviously expensive asset. We need to see lower time frame. What is giving us? There hasn't been a real clear structural shift yet. You can see we obviously had some pretty big push up, higher low, another push up, higher lows, another push up, higher lows. But you can see that the structure is flattening a bit. So it's creating all this liquidity down here, trend line if you like, which is encouraging for a short, because that tells me that probably sometimes in the New York session, this level of liquidity will be swept eventually. So once again, we can just leave it here. What I want to see, and I might not be up for it, but if you are up for it, what we want to see is some clear break of structure. So instead of making higher highs and higher lows, I want to see some lower lows be made, lower highs be made, and then we can start taking a position on the retest of that. So don't enter a position on the first breaker structure, because that can simply be a fake out, and that's just how the market operates in crypto and gold and forex and pretty much any asset. A great example is right here on the chart. So you can see this was a low, high, higher high. Oh great, we're breaking structure, I'm going to short, and then this was the fake out right here. We just basically went below the previous lows, fake out everyone, all the buyers, and then proceeded to all the sellers, and then proceeded to go up higher. So don't enter on the first break of structure, just wait for the retest. So important, so important. But yeah, gold is shaping up nicely. I do like this levels. I can't remember, I was talking to, what was that, Stingray, but we're talking about gold. He wanted to get a buy down here, but I'm actually gonna be interested for a short soon. And failing this level, which is the 50% 618, look at this candle, look at this big indecision. So 4 hour, obviously big push down, buy step in, again very little body, very big wick, taking massive amount of liquidity. So this whole week on the 4 hour, massive attention, and it's also at a 3400, so massive level of liquidity. So that's my next level of interest right there for gold. And we can play gold on chain as well. You don't have to have brokers. You simply go onto gains.sol and you can just trade forex and or commodities as well. So let's have a look at NAS 100. This thing is just hanging. Like, tell me in the chat, do you think does this look like it's gonna drop or what? Tell me in the chat. I need a friend. Tell me in the chat. There's liquidity everywhere. Up, down. This thing tells me like it just wants to drop. It's been it's hanging up by a thread. Look at this 4 hour. Like you could potentially long here out of this 4 hour candle, but that's just this. Yeah, I mean the downside is just too much for me. If I was a NAS trader, which I am occasionally, I'm just not up for the time, I will probably be looking for some shorts here sometime soon with a very tight loss. So that's a very tight loss, something like this. Risk just about those highs and targeting perhaps that kind of maybe this liquidity right here. So this could be neat, obviously with TPs along the way. This could be very neat NAS short, potentially maybe risk a little bit higher just to get clear this equal highs right there. Something like this for NAS is very much a possibility. Yeah, very nice 15 minutes candle right there. All this liquidity right here. So much liquidity everywhere, left, right, center, but there's also some pretty significant imbalances right there. So that could be a nice entry, even tighter risk to reward. That would be sick. Yep, I like that. This could be a nice 12 to 1. Doesn't have to be obviously all the way down there in terms of drop. Like even simply just going to the previous low still gives you almost a 1 to 4. So I'm pretty happy with that move. That's kind of the gist of the big fours, the main fours: Bitcoin, XRP, Sol, and ETH. Obviously, Bitcoin dominance is really what has the most attention for me right now. Is this a fake out? Are we going to move lower than this level and then continue lower, or are we going to eventually get to the 62 to 63% and reverse back higher? So until that level arises or eventuates, I should say, We will not know. So this, we can call this buying pressure, because obviously there's a lot of buying pressure there. We'll see. We shall see. Any questions in the chat or any charts that you would like me to have a look at? Obviously, our XRP is active currently, so we've got an active trade. We talked about an ETH happening shortly. I think we're going to push up there very, very soon. Oh, yes. EWT, baby. EWT. And for those who do not know what T-Bone Bay and I are talking about, I've been shouting from the rooftops about this project, EWT, Energy Web Token. This is a Swiss project that works around renewable energy, so solar panels. The whole concept of this project is basically you can tokenize and you can get paid in EWT token whenever you put energy back into the grid. And obviously, massive, 1920, the all-time high was silly. I think there was a spike, but it was like 49. So let's just call it $25, and it's currently trading at $1. And in the Discord channel, we were talking about it all the way down here, and you can see now we have massively bottomed out all the way to the back. And what is this now? This is a nice, oh, my arrow is just gone. This is a nice break of structure. So we're starting to break structure now. I want to see the $1 or the $2 level taken out, but this is absolutely beautiful in terms of strength coming up. If we took it here the other week, so we were at 45 cents, we're now at almost 1.8, so that's a 4x over 4x. So not a bad mover. And fun fact, this is one of the few cryptocurrency projects that Mr. Warren Buffett is indirectly exposed or invested into. So yeah, guy doesn't miss. So thank you for bringing that up, T-Bone Bay. I do love EWT. I traded on Kraken personally. They've had a couple of contract migrations and whatnot, but EWT is definitely one to put on to the real world utility basket. I agree. And speaking of, I have a couple of maybe bonuses for you guys since we're talking. Let's have a little look see at my watch list. See, I've been doing some research in the background with some real life real utility projects, and if I can find them, have I ever talked about EDU with you guys? Let me know in the chat. Have I talked about EDU? I don't think I have, because this is something that I am still doing some deep dives on it. But Hyperliquid, well, yeah, the thing is just shooting up. I'm not a huge fan of Hyperliquid from a dev perspective, Rasuka. There's some potential vulnerability that keep coming up and keep being brought up by some serious dev in the space, and also white hackers in the space, and they still haven't addressed them. So I think Hyperliquid is a project that you can make money on and off, but I think it's just a matter of time until a major hack happens and or they shut down or something like that. So I'm not saying that. No, I mean, if you're up, not a bad idea to take some profit. I mean, the thing is just, what is that? Hyper. I think it's just going up. Now, I know it was at a low, and then it just completely bounced. Yeah, I mean, it's pushing high, depending on where your entry is, right? I'm not going to take you to take a profit. If your entry was up here, you break even. You're up. Yeah, I mean, need funds for upstream. There you go. So, if your entry was at a low, always take profit. But yeah, from a dev perspective, and I am a dev for living, you bought at 1920, so yeah, you're still up, still up 10, 15, a bit more actually, 20, 25%. Not bad to take some profit. Yeah, I just have this feeling in the space, if you've been around the space for a while, you know that these kind of projects where there's a lot of like shady stuff. Someone said in the chat, yeah, shady stuff. You just put it in the chat, shady. Something's gonna happen. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I'm not saying you can't make money off it. We're all here to make money off something, but yeah, I don't know. But in terms of other projects that I've been looking at as well for real life utility, there's a couple that have my attention. I actually took a position the other day in is Centrifuge Finance. That's good. I'm up. Yay. I had a position on Centrifuge. It was down here. I wanted to take the 15 cents, but look up this project and come and tell me in the Discord what you find, and we can discuss it. But all I can tell you is that this is a RWA project. They tokenize financial items. Not like Ondo. Ondo obviously is very much bond oriented, so government and whatnot. These guys tokenize things like invoices and slips and things like that. So, and they are, I think, massively undervalued for where they are right now. So put it on your radar, do some research, have a little look-see. You can trade it on Base. You can trade it on Uniswap, of course, because it's Base is on Uniswap as well. So I do like it for where it's at. And the other one that I'll be looking at for the RWAs is a Parcel. So these guys tokenize real estate, so you can actually trade real estate markets on chain. So you can go and say, I think today New York real estate is going down. It's pretty cool concept. Very niche at the moment, but I don't want to call it just yet because of this massive trend line, which is basically, you can see it's probably just breaking up now. Until this thing retraces back down into the 9 cents or even 8 cents, I'm probably going to wait and reframe. We're at 11 cents now. Yeah, give me a little retrace and a pushback and a pullback, sorry, and I'm ready to call this out as well. But for now, I do think CFG, which you can see that was my entry right there at 20 cents. Probably going to DCA down if this thing does fall back, but it has already mitigated that area. But if it does fall back into the 14, I still keep DCAing. So yeah, and of course, since we're talking about real world utility, let's talk about RSC, which, guys, like if you're not taking these RSC calls, I don't know what to tell you. First call was up here. This was a 500% move. Second call was up here. This was a 150% move. Third call was out here the other day, and this so far has been a 150% move. These are all in the Discord. Like, I'm not making them up. You can go and check them. I hope you're taking them, because you could have basically just 10x. Put $100, you now have 1,000. Not bad, just off this one project. Affiliated, of course, with Coinbase, not directly because they're not on Coinbase. In fact, very interesting, since the founder is Brian Armstrong himself. They're not in Coinbase just yet, but we know Coinbase is now in the S&P 500, so therefore we get massive pumps. We front run. I think that's it. In terms of checking out what we wanted to show you. And I didn't finish telling about EDU. Sorry, we got distracted. Go and check out this project. Talking about tokenizing. These guys tokenize student loans. Pretty cool concept, I think. You can go and crowdfund and tokenize student loans. I do like the concept a lot. Tokenomics are a little bit far off, but not horrible. But yeah, a concept that I think if you're looking for early narrative and a very small amount to put into at pretty much at an all-time low, this is worth maybe chucking, $100 and see in 5 years. Like a move, if we simply do a move from here to the previous high, that's a 4x to that. No, not a bad play. Fartcoin. Sui. That's a Sui. I'm not huge in meme coins, but I do know that obviously Fartcoin is one of the better performers when it comes to not just meme coins, but possibly AI agents. Like Sui, it depends what the question is, Cypher. What are we looking for here in Sui? Are we looking to add to spot or play leverage? Because spot, I can tell you right now, we are way late for Sui. Way late. This could have been a nice re-entry. Spot bid range, nah fam. There's better plays. Unless we come back all the way down here in the $2 range. I can't, in all conscience, I can't tell you to invest into, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you to invest in anything. There's the risk involved in anything, but this thing has gone from, in 1 year, from 2024, has done a 10x. Oh, well, if you bought at $2, that's great. You managed to catch this nice little pullback. That's awesome. So you're up. That's fantastic. But as a first entry, yeah, that's you can't go wrong with a with almost a 2x, mate. If you bought a 2 and you sold at 365, it's a 1 point, whatever it is, 1.5 roughly. Sui has a big decision now to make when it comes to bigger high time frames. Obviously, you can see we're starting to slow down. When it comes up here in the 76, 86 range, so around the $4 to $5 range, what are we doing? We'll have to see. Are we going to keep pushing higher, or are we going to reject and perhaps come back and fill these major imbalances out here? So I'm happy to leave this on the chart, but I can already tell you this level right here is going to get retested. $2.80. It's in the middle of a major imbalance, massive daily imbalance. You can see up, no downward pressure. $2.80 is going to get retested sooner or later. I can't tell you when, but look, this is going to be, I can guarantee you that. Put an alert. This is buy Sui on spot. Put on alert right there, and that can be my entry. Right there. And yeah, we can go even lower, but that I can tell you that area is going to get retested. So I'd rather wait for market to do what it needs to do. High lows, high lows, high highs, high lows until it breaks, and then we retrace down and we'll see how the lower time frame looks like, what it looks like. There's a lot of liquidity here too, like all this liquidity up here. That's taken at the $1. It's not taken at the $1.50. I would like to see that. Yeah, patience. Money is a game of patience. That's all it is. Money is a game of patience. And transfer. Wealth is a game of transfer. You transfer from the patient to the impatient. That's all it is. So if we can be patient and just wait for market to give us those opportunity, that's when we deploy the market. Deploy capital into the market. Cool. Loving this combo tonight. Loving this combo. Tell you who actually surprised me. PBS. Shout out Greeny, called it. I enter it way later. He called this somewhere down here. So you guys were up, and I enter here, and then I was down for a while, and then I was up again, and then I was down, and then I was like, nah, I'm out, taking profit. But this thing had just gone a little bit higher. So yeah, PBS, nice little low market cap. What is it saying? I have a bids. Yep. the more patient and less interested you are in getting rich quickly, the richer you will be. 100%. Time and patience. That's it. You just have to remove. First. Oh, Rasuka, thank you so much. Welcome, fam. First Aussie stream, mate. Oh, that's so great. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I love when the chat is here and active. Fires me up. Fires me up. Fires me up. But yeah, look, in terms of narratives that I want to keep an eye out at the moment, and basically that's just going into the broader basket. I want to keep an eye on RWAs. I want to keep an eye on AI, of course, and people are not talking about it again, but DeFi is obviously making a huge resurgence. So put those 3 basket categories in your watch list. You can see AI. These are my project right here. And then I do have a DeFi project, which I think I've called in the past a long time ago, but it's at a very juicy level compared to where the market is, massively undervalued. That's Compound. Compound, you can see Aave, massive pump. That was my entry, never got triggered. But Compound, whew, these are some solid levels, man. Solid levels. Look at this. Like, we are absolutely in the prime area. And you can see how quickly this project can move. Like, you went from $38 to 75, so 2x in one day. So put this into your watch list for DeFi, I suggest. Curve and Aave, absolutely. Got them right here. Curve. The problem I've got with these two, and Aerodrome Finance as well, Aave is gone for me. I missed it. I missed the entry. I had this daily. Actually, this is a pain point for me, and it always will be for this cycle. I had this entry right here, daily, marked up, tagged it, never took a position. I didn't put on alert. So I could have entered at 120, 130 last month, and I'd be up 2x already, and I just never did. Yeah. So I missed that. I missed that move, so it's already pumped. I'm not going to chase. Curve, similarly, like my entry for portfolio, I want to be picky. So this would be a nice re-entry into the 42 cents. It's too far gone. Compound, whew, look at this. Low was 35. We are trading at 43. This one move was a 73. And if you think this is underpriced, like, this project was up here, right? So we are down here. This project was up here. Yep. So DeFi is going to come back. My first take profit is at 150. FDMS, like, oh, fun. No, I'm not. Like, I know there's a lot of, and that's actually, you hit the nail on the head on that one. There's a lot of shills. I don't necessarily want to go where the shills are. I just go by structure, and this is what I like. I see strength. Give me my arrow. I see strength. I see lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, and now I think we're printing. We're about to print, and you can see the volume, of course, with that candle just all come in. But if you look on the weekly, there's a bit of volume happening right here, of course, but yeah. Put this on the on your watch list, team. Compound. I'm going to have a look at what it does too while you're at it. Few little goodies tonight. Few little goodies. Pretty much it. Everything else we covered last week. Do I like Tau? Risuka, yes. I don't like Tau. I love Tau. It is my third biggest holding, aside from Bitcoin. and XRP. So my main holdings are Bitcoin, XRP, and after that I've got Tau. The reason why I like Tau so much is obviously the AI narrative. I think it's not going anywhere. The tokenomics are insane. Let's see, if I bring up CoinGecko, can you see the screen, or can you just still only see? Yes, I think you can. Yes. The tokenomics on Tau are a thing of beauty. 21 million max supplies, just like Bitcoin, hey? We are currently sitting at obviously just over a third. Trading volume, massive. And we can see when it comes down to market cap, we are trading currently at 4 billion. I think this coin is easily going to be $1,000 coin in the next run, or in the next few years anyway. So I want to buy a 200. That's the problem. You gotta be ready to snipe when you see a coin. And look, I'm gonna be blatantly honest and perfectly honest here. Nobody's perfect. We all have areas that, you know, I too would have liked to buy a Tau at 160, right? But realistically, our human nature, we don't get attention until the things gets attention. So if you want to become a profitable trader and a successful trader, you have to learn how to pull the trigger when there is fear. When others are fearful, when there's doubt, that's when we pull the trigger. We buy in the red, we don't buy in the green. We buy when everyone else is telling us that we're going to go lower. I don't know if you were here, Rusuka, for the $8 Solana what was that, 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Man, people were calling Solana dead. Anywhere from $8 to $200. But yeah, Tau definitely a play, and I do love it. I do love the project. So we still, don't worry, we are 500. Once again, I'm not going to tell you to buy now, but you can see my TP areas right here. My first exit will be around the $780, and my second exit, which is probably my biggest exit, will be around the 984. And these are all exit based on previous structure and obviously fib levels, or fib extension, I should say. Yeah, buying fear is it's harder. Yeah, you don't want to top last. Everything is pumping, but this is where in these kind of markets, when you see a pullback and a pullback and a pullback, your first entry matters. But then again, if you have a higher entry, pullbacks are also great to DCA down. I was having this conversation, I can't remember, with someone the other day. It was a client actually. I was having this conversation where I had some entries on a different coin that were a little bit high. But now this coin is lower. So I am still buying because I still trust the process. I still trust my analysis. And now I've been blessed with a lower entry, and I can simply DCA my higher price of entry with a lower price. That means if I buy, it's pretty simple. If I buy an asset, like come up here. If I buy a 100 on entry 1 and the asset goes to 50, right? And then I buy again at 50, my average, what is that? 75. So I just brought down my average simply by buying, at 150. I brought down my average. That's right. So we can still not make money, but if we have less than average or less than great entries in a coin that we in a project that we like, we can still do good when the market gives us, excuse the French, but a pile of poo in terms of pricing, right? So learn to see the blessing everywhere we go and everywhere we look. I think this has been a great stream, team. An hour kicking with Joel. I think I'm going to hit the sack now. Got to be up in a few hours. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for either starting the day with me or ending it if you're in Aussie time, unless you're in WA like Sunday, which is probably in the middle of the afternoon sipping beers on a sunny beach in WA. So thanks, team. I appreciate you. Oh, in New Zealand, of course, 11, even worse. So even more so, Rasuka. Thank you so much, mate, for making the time. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. Sci-fi, you win tonight, mate. You win. You win. 75-inch screen and love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, team. I appreciate you, and I will see you next week for another stream.